Good morning. I would like to welcome everyone to Glacier Unitarian Universalist Fellowship. This community gathers on the ancestral, unceded lands of the Salish and Kootenai tribes, who are still here, continuing to honor and bring light to their ancient heritage. With profound respect and gratitude, we seek a deepening relationship and meaningful reconciliation with both the people and this land. My name is Akasha Heinzig, and I will be your service leader today alongside my father, Dennis Heinzig. Whether you are here for the first time or have been coming for years, wherever you are from, whoever you love, whatever history we share, you are welcome here. We will start with announcements today. First, as always, everyone is invited to stay after the service for refreshments, coffee, and tea. Second, thanks to this relatively rare occasion of winter solstice falling on a Sunday, the evening celebration and ritual takes place tonight here at 5 o'clock. We recommend dressing warmly because it will be outside and, of course, dark. There will be another evening service next week on Wednesday, December 24th for Christmas Eve. It also takes place here, though inside this time, at 6 p.m. and will be led by Mary Wellemeyer. Okay. So with business now out of the way, and before we light our chalice, I would like to take a moment to orient us. The room right now is for the most part as it usually is. However, this is not going to be a typical service because this is not a typical day. Today is the winter solstice, which most know as the longest night of the year. However, in our family, this was our winter holiday, our version of Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, or any other iteration taking place this time of year. The gifts brought by Old Man Winter were always found on the other side of a winter solstice descent, which in our family took the form of a ritual and discussion designed to facilitate a deep, meaningful engagement with darkness. Today's service will mirror that, which mirrors nature. As the darkness of winter increases, nature reallocates its resources from external expression and action to internal engagement and integration. Nature not only surrenders to, but embraces the expanding dark, treating it with equal reverence as the light, knowing it will once again return. So in following nature's lead, we are now going to close the blinds and dim the lights and experience this service in darkness. As that is happening, I would like to invite all of you to take a moment to get situated. Make sure your phones are silenced. Find a comfortable position in your chair. Settle into your body. And together, let's take a deep breath. In and out. Give yourself permission to be here, now. Notice what comes up for you as we invite darkness into the room with us. If you feel willing and able, you are welcome to close your eyes or even cover them with your hands to deepen your engagement with the darkness that is present. Here, now, always. Let's together take a moment to be with darkness. Thank you. We will now light the chalice, today not only to ritually begin our service, but also to represent and honor the spark of light that never leaves and will soon begin to grow once again.
I'm going to do a small reading that was taken from one of the Heinzig's past winter solstice readings. Author unknown, maybe one of the Heinzigs, I'm not sure. possibly Dennis. For half of the year, day by day, slowly the world has grown darker. For half the year, night by night, slowly the darkness has grown longer. Tonight that ends, and the wheel of the year turns our land back to the light once again. The darkness was never complete. A spark was always waiting. Soon once more, we will enjoy the light and warmth. The wheel is always turning from darkness to light and back again.
Okay, our first hymn today will be in the Singing the Living Tradition hymnal, which is the larger gray book. It is number 123, Spirit of Life. So, our calendar year coincides with the Earth's elliptical journey around the sun, a path marked by 4 astronomical events: the spring equinox in March, summer solstice in June, fall equinox in September, and the winter solstice in December. Today, on the winter solstice, the Earth is tilted to its maximum declination, about 23.5 degrees, positioning our hemisphere furthest away from the sun. Because of this tilt and the elliptical shape of Earth's orbit, the sun reaches its lowest arc across our sky and appears to stand still for a brief moment before beginning its return. The way we experience this astronomical event, this peak of separation, is through darkness, for there is no other 24-hour period in the year where we get as much of it as we do today. It is now my great honor to introduce my father, Dennis Heinzig, who I've asked to deliver today's message on darkness, for I have yet to meet another soul who knows it better.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Thank you, Akasha. I will take that as a compliment given the topic today. If it were summer solstice, maybe not. Well, are you ready to dive into some delicious darkness with me? Yeah? We're in the back, perhaps a little bit more there than the rest of us? Yeah. Well, I thought a good place to begin a little journey into darkness this morning was in the inferno of the Divine Comedy, where Dante begins by recalling his vision and transformative journey, which started in a terrifying dark forest. And he said, "Midway upon the journey of our life, I found myself within a forest dark, for the straightforward pathway had been lost. Ah me, how hard a thing it is to say, what was this forest savage, rough, and stern? Which the very thought renews in me the fear. So bitter it is, death is little more." One can hear in Dante's words the echo of our own fears of darkness and the night, extending all the way from the childhood of our shared humanity. Darkness has always been a scary place, full of strange and malevolent creatures, both physical and spiritual, each, we fear, awaiting the opportunity to do us harm. Throughout Western history, we can see the attitude of darkness endlessly repeated. St. John Chrysostom, the Archbishop of Constantinople in the 4th century, said, "Darkness is not only the absence of light, but the presence of evil." 9 centuries later, St. Thomas Aquinas, the great Catholic scholar, agreed. Evil, like darkness, is not a positive existence, but the privation of good. Darkness has been equated with evil, scary beings, thoughts, and all those things that people want to avoid in the world, but also in our hearts and souls. For millennia, on this shortest day and longest night, in the darkest season of the year, humans have celebrated the return of light with an eye to escaping the dangers in the darkness, as well as the renewal of hope in difficult and uncertain or dark times in life. While that makes sense, especially from the vantage point of our ancient ancestors, it does overlook the deeper invitation of winter solstice, the experience of darkness itself, thus missing the opportunity to meet the darkness, greet its inhabitants, and receive the many blessings and lessons that await us there. So today I would like to invite you to consider your ideas of darkness. Set aside negative associations and be curious about what else it might be, while I suggest an alternative, complementary view. What if darkness is not just the container for all things opposite of light and good, but rather a liberating and transformative space that renews and rejuvenates the soul? John O'Donoghue, an Irish poet and Celtic theologian, expressed similar thoughts about darkness in his book Anam Cara. The world rests in the night. Trees, mountains, fields, and faces are released from the prison of shape and the burden of exposure. Each thing creeps back into its own nature within the shelter of the dark. Darkness is the ancient womb. Nighttime is womb time. Our souls come out to play. Darkness absolves everything. The struggle for identity and impression falls away. We rest in the night. Words like darkness and light may seem to be nothing more than simple descriptors of our external environment. However, the connotative layers of these concepts are manifold. Words like these bear archetypal and mythopoetic qualities far exceeding the physical reference. Darkness, as we have seen, has been associated with evil, fear, the unconscious, and the unknown, but also with the great feminine principle, the element of earth, with mystery intuition, eminence, possibility, new beginnings, a space of transformation. In her book, Women Who Run with the Wolves, Clarissa Pinkola Estes writes about how the descent into the dark, the feminine, the place of the wild unconscious, is a return to the bones of the self. Darkness is a place of knowing and restoration. It is where we rest and the soil from which the unseen parts of us grow. Light, on the other hand, has always been linked to the masculine principle, the element of air, spirit, consciousness, rationality, logos, transcendence to heavenly heights. Our fear of the dark, combined with the practical efficacy of light, have led us to illuminate our lives, cities, and planets such that it can be seen from outer space. However, the imbalance of our bias toward light has not only disturbed the circadian rhythms of our bodies on the outside, but also estranged us from the rich, dark depths of our souls on the inside. As Carl Jung noted in Psychology and Alchemy, people will do anything, no matter how absurd, in order to avoid facing their own souls. One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. Light without darkness becomes stark and sterile. One cannot see the stars in daylight. Darkness without light becomes unconscious stagnation. However, the one who is willing and able to hold the two in polarity and integrate, rather than choosing one or the other, can access the rich wholeness that comes from living a full, balanced, and authentic life. Khalil Gibran painted a picture of this unity of the two states of consciousness when he said, "Each person is two people. One is awake in the darkness, the other asleep in the light." It is in our depths that we find our most true selves, for on the surface we display only a sliver of who we are. The persona we curate is not for authentic expression, but for social acceptance. If we genuinely want to know ourselves, we must turn off the light, go deep, and into that still, silent, mysterious darkness where these answers await. There we can find a kind of clarity that allows us to see things we would never be able to see in the light. It seems to me particularly notable that human fear and rejection of darkness is related to and runs parallel with the subjugation and destruction of the great feminine principle over the last 5,000 years. It's a tragedy and it's moving. With so many current events in our world displaying a corrupted and toxic version of the masculine running amok, perhaps more than ever, we need a resurgence of the feminine. However, with so much historical and socially conditioned avoidance of darkness and the feminine, it will take a certain stillness of thought and silence of tongue to be able to receive the invitation that darkness offers us at a deeper level of reflection. A return to one's true and authentic self requires a descent into the dark depths, as Dante discovered and Estes described. One must make the descent first, then there is transformation, followed by ascent. Wendell Berry, writer and poet, said it well in his poem, "To Know the Dark." To go into the dark with the light is to know the light. To know the dark, go dark. Go without sight, and find that the dark too blooms and sings and is traveled by dark feet and dark wings. Some of my fondest memories of childhood growing up on a farm in Oklahoma were exploring the nighttime darkness. My favorite thing to do was walk alone in the woods at night. That is where I felt more alive than ever. As the night beings moved around me, the moon reflected on many pairs of eyes, and I stood among them in a quickened silence that was as thick as molasses. I learned to love the night by experiencing it face to face, firsthand. I also found that in facing what is hidden within, what I have feared or rejected or denied in my own darkness, I was able to get to know those parts of myself more deeply. It's a bit like the child discovering that the scary monster in the closet is actually a pile of its own toys and clothes. As it turns out, there was nothing to fear or reason to push those parts away at all. Rather, by greeting those parts with acceptance and understanding, I found myself more whole. The 20th century mythologist Joseph Campbell made this point in telling us that the dark cave we fear to enter actually holds the treasures we seek. Darkness offers an invitation, an opportunity to go deeper, to grow still, then silent, and realign, to synchronize our own souls with the anima mundi, with the soul of the world. In his famous poem, You Darkness, Rilke echoes the same sentiments and captures the dynamic well when he says, "You darkness that I come from, I love you more than all the fires that fence in the world. For the fire makes a circle of light for everyone, and then no one outside learns of you. But the darkness pulls in everything, shapes and fires, animals and myself. How easily it gathers them, powers and people. And it is possible a great presence is moving near me. I have faith in nights." As the wheel of the year turns to winter solstice again today, it provides the annual invitation to celebrate, to go into, to be with darkness. For there we find the stillness and the silence, the possibilities and paradoxes, the magic and mystery of life itself. Darkness at its deepest level is a sacred space for a conversation between the soul and nature. It is there that we meet the sweet, generative darkness of earth, the dark feminine and deep soul. One of my favorite poets, David White, wrote about this invitation in his conversation, that this conversation should be had with ourselves and the world, in his poem called Sweet Darkness. When your eyes are tired, the world is tired also. When your vision is gone, no part of the world can find you. Time to go into the dark, where the night has eyes to recognize its own. There you can be sure you are not beyond love. The dark will be your home tonight. The night will give you a horizon further than you can see. You must learn one thing. The world was made to be free in. Give up all the other worlds, except the one to which you belong. Sometimes it takes darkness and the sweet confinement of your aloneness, to learn anything or anyone that does not bring you alive is too small for you. Time to go into the dark, where the night has eyes to recognize its own. There you can be sure you are not beyond love. May we accept the invitation nature has extended to us on this shortest of days and longest of nights, to be with darkness, both without and within, to enjoy the stillness and silence in this ancient, sacred womb time, so that we may rediscover and renew both ourselves and the world.
Phew. Thanks, Dad, for leading us on such a meaningful descent and embrace with darkness as per usual. Okay. Well, to represent the gradual increase of light that we will experience on the other side of this winter solstice, we will bring more in. First, through the lighting of candles for the joys and sorrows from our personal lives. If you feel called, please come to the front and light a candle. You are welcome to use the microphone and share with the group, or you may hold them quietly in your heart. Either way, we will receive them with love and respect.
Hello.
You gotta turn it on.
Hello. Reading. So today I don't really have a sorrow nor a joy, but considering that the UUs have a tradition of questioning and challenging tradition, I feel like it would be all right to instead share something that is bittersweet. I have come up here before to talk about the troubles that I was having with my boyfriend, and I asked for his permission if I could share his graces at church because I am respecting his identity. We did find out that it is not a herniated disc at all, but that he has multiple sclerosis. So he did have 5 steroid infusions, and he will be starting a disease-modifying drug. It is very scary, but when you take what was told today about how darkness has a light, there is a lot of light to be found. There is supportive communities. We're living in a day and age wherein medicine has advanced and progressed. We're staying hopeful and optimistic and just learning that this is a new beginning. It is unknown, but when you open that door instead of close it and just live in denial and only live in the light, when you embrace both areas, you have all these new beginnings. So that's just really what we're looking at.
I'm going to light a candle of joy for my mother, Jean, who passed 13 years ago on the winter solstice, her and our high holiday of the year. We used to do a solstice ritual at her house in the dark in the evening, everything dark. But she would cut a Christmas tree that day, fresh, and fresh enough that we could place lit candles on the tree as we brought back the light. My sisters and I dearly miss our mom, but she's with us today. She's here with us and celebrating your message, Dennis.
This is a bit of a joy and an announcement. I am no longer going to be doing the refreshments. So, and I have some joy with that. So there you go. And if somebody would like to take it over and do it differently, or however you want to do it, or whatever the case, I'm going to pass the information on to Kathy. Yeah, I know, you're excited to have that. So anyway, I know it will continue, so I will light a candle of joy for refreshments.
I think you deserve a big hand for all you've
This is a candle of joy. In August of 2009, we were joined by a Border Collie puppy that replaced a previous Border Collie that we just missed the Border Collie energy. And she became my partner in thousands of agility runs and attaining her agility championship in 2020. And she was an awesome Frisbee dog, traveled back and forth across the country several times with me or with Kathy and I, many times. She was just a wonderful dog. So here it is, 16 and a half years later. She is a candle of sorrow. Last Thursday, she went to sleep for the final time, and we were both there, Kathy and I. Yeah, she'll be missed. Thank you.
What's her name?
Callie.
Hi. For the last 4 months, I've been struggling with a workman's comp issue. I've had an injury for a long time, and I've been trying to get a knee replacement, and it's been a real struggle with the paperwork and a lot of things. But it was funny because just this morning, I had a dream and woke up pretty happy about. I'm in the last process of like the last time I can try to apply for it this year, and then some pain and stuff. But I felt like I had a dream about the kind of the turn of taking control over it myself. I feel like everything's kind of been pushed upon me, and I don't really have a choice. And I feel like just my dream last night and feeling like I'm going to take some control over this, whether they let it go through or not. I have some control over my own self and how I can handle it. And I don't need to let it affect me in a negative way. And moving forward into the light, feeling like I can move forward.
Hi, good morning, everybody. Happy winter solstice. And I want to thank everybody who came out to the Guff Montessori fundraiser yesterday at the Grand Hotel in Kalispell. Thank you so much for supporting the beautiful Montessori school that also resides here. Thank you so much, Dennis, for your beautiful message and your family's message. And I just want to say this is a very emotional time of year. But I want to say that all the lessons that come with the darkness are amazing, and thank you for reiterating that diving deep. Sometimes we seek those lessons and we learn more about ourselves and we learn more about other people. And we can't control other people, but we can pray for them. And that's what I want to do right now, is pray for all those people that think darkness is the only way, and that us as light workers and people that can see the light at the end of the darkness, we're praying for those people so hard right now, because there's a lot of them in this world, and we need to rebalance that with our beautiful feminine energy of light and love. And that's what I'm praying for.
Hi there, everybody. Thank you for being so great. There's such a nice and authentic energy here. This is a candle of joy for all that face darkness and mystery and the unknown with courage and trust and love and acceptance.
Hi, this is hard for me. I'm lighting a candle for hope and faith for my son. He's been struggling from addiction for 15 years. He's 31 years old and he lives in Michigan, so if you can just have some hope and faith for him. Thank you very much.
What's his name?
Brandon.
Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Tonight's the last night of Hanukkah. I don't remember a time when the last night of Hanukkah aligned with the solstice, although I'm sure it has. I just wasn't paying attention. So, a candle for bringing light into the darkness, which is the meaning of the holiday. And it also seems fitting that I don't actually know what to light this candle for. I think it's for gun control. And I think it's a candle of hope, haha, that we find a way to wrap around the people who are so lost, who are so locked in the darkness that they find a path towards violence against others.
I'm a guest today. My wife attends regularly. But I had to mention that because this is Solstice, I have a 6-year-old daughter who is a Solstice baby. She lives in California. I can't be with her. But her mom celebrates it with a Christmas tree that is actually a solstice tree. And it has a huge owl on top. And it's the coolest thing. And she's having a great party today, dancing around as some kind of solstice princess. So anyway, I want to light a candle for her. It's a very cool thing. And her name is Lila. It's a great solstice name.
No others? Okay. Well, I'm actually going to light one. Both joy and sorrow for this memory with my family and friends and Guff community, but also wishing that Sarah's family was with us too. And I will light one final candle. Okay, for any joys and sorrows that remain in our hearts unspoken. Please join me in a moment of silence, being with everything that was brought in this morning. Thank you. So, on top of winter solstice, today is also one of our Share the Plate services, which means half of the donations collected are given to dedicated organizations. Today, that recipient is the Flathead Warming Center. For those of you who are not familiar, they are a nonprofit dedicated to providing low-barrier access to a warm, safe place and resources, such as night shelters, showers, laundry, light food, and road map support for those in need during the winter here. The low-barrier descriptor is important, as that points to their commitment to provide these services to individuals and families regardless of their personal barriers to housing security. So those who are often discriminated against and rejected are welcome there. Today, we embraced the darkness of the season and explored it with curiosity, which we must not forget is a privilege. We are only able to access reverence for darkness from the ground of security, knowing without a doubt our basic needs will be met. For some, like the individuals and families in need of the Flathead Warming Center, this darkness is harsh and dangerous, a genuine threat to their safety. So if you feel called and are able, please consider contributing in service of the Flathead Warming Center's mission to save lives, link people to resources, and encourage dignity for those in need here in our valley.
Can I add something?
Absolutely.
So use the microphone. So my husband and I volunteer at the Flathead Warming Center, and the low barrier is really important as they allow those who have dogs to bring their dogs in, which is amazing. And it's this tiny room, I mean, like less than half, maybe a third of the size of this room, and there are all these dogs that get along. It's unbelievable. It's an amazing place. If anybody's interested in volunteering, I encourage you to reach out to them. Thanks.
Okay, our final hymn is in the Singing the Journey hymnal, which is the smaller blue book. It is number 1059, Dancing with the Stars. Just kidding on that song title. Keeping you guys on your toes. Okay. Well, we will now extinguish the chalice. I've asked my mom, Iona McMillan, to do the closing reading.
The solstices teach us that darkness comes, that darkness goes. The solstices teach us that light comes, that light goes. The solstices teach us calmly, silently, to be calm, silent, learning. The solstices teach us as we circle the sun that everything flies. The solstices teach us to remember the dark, to remember the light, to remember time, the seasons, and love as we circle the sun. A reading by David Breeden.
Okay, please join me in saying our closing words together. They should be on the order of service. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Thank you, everyone. Please feel free to join us together for refreshments afterward.
Thank you.